Hello friends, and welcome to Charlie's Creative Corner. I hope you are all doing well. Thank you for coming by today. It's been a little bit since I've done a video. Things have been very busy. Summer has kind of officially hit, and so there's a lot of little summery things to do, like the lawn again, and I set up a bird feeding station, so I've been busy doing that. It's been really cool, actually. I put an Oriole feeder out, and I have a couple Orioles that have been coming to visit, and they are so beautiful. I am really happy about that. And you know, we got our other normal birds, a lot of house finches and things like that, so that's been kind of fun. And the cats love watching the birds. They absolutely just sit there all day and just watch birds. It has been miserable hot, just terribly hot, and it's like you sit down and you're just like sweating, even inside in the air conditioning and everything. It's just like one of those things where it's like, good night. So I've been wanting to get to the lake, haven't got out to the lake yet, but hopefully I can get out there soon enough and go swimming and enjoy the cool water for a while, because it's been bad. We're going to kind of go simple today. Going to do something kind of fun and simple, and I don't have a whole lot of time. I'm working on a project. I'm making my niece and nephew some things, and they are taking a little bit longer than I anticipated, and I haven't really had time to work on them, so I'm going to have to make it a quick video with you guys today. I haven't really put up much new jewelry at my store, so I haven't been able to really work on that much either. So I've just been putting everything on the back burner, unfortunately. But hopefully I can get caught up on the little stuff. And I'm sorry if that's a little loud. My air conditioner is like full blast right now. So I don't have central air, so I have little air conditioners. And so they can be a little bit loud. So I'm sorry if that is a little loud for you all. But gotta keep cool. Sorry. It's just one of those things. It's terrible. So as far as what's been going on, not a whole lot. Just trying to keep cool. A lot of different chores and things like that. Working on some gifts for people. That's about all. The only thing I've really been working on is my fringe bag. I am going to get this done, I swear. It's taking a lot longer than I have anticipated, but I'll show you what my progress is. I went out of town last week and to visit some family, and I actually had an opportunity to work on it in the car, and yes, I can bead in the car. I was shocked. I was like, I don't know if this is going to work. It's a long drive. I'd really like to take my beading with me. And sure enough, it worked. And I was able to do some beading in the car. So that was an extra couple hours that I was able to, more than a couple, but that I was able to actually get some work done. And it was nice light because it was sunlight. It was straight into the car sunlight. So it was good lighting for it. But so far, this is what I got done on it so far. I think it's looking a little wonky, but I don't really care. I really kind of like it just the way it is. I think it's turned out very lovely, especially like if you look at it from a distance, it looks really cool. So I am real excited. All I have left, I'm real excited to get it finished, but all I have left are, there's two little like triangle shapes over here, and then I have the other flap that is going to kind of come down and overlap this blue. And that is all I have left for beading on this bad boy. So, getting closer. I'm excited to see that done. I think it's going to be really, really awesome done. Now, today we're going to do something kind of fun, really different for some people. We're going to do some earrings, but we're going to be using porcupine quills. Now, I don't know if it's available, if a lot of people have porcupine quills available, but you can order them online. If you know somebody who hunts or something like that, you might be able to get them through that. There are different ways to get a hold of them. I'm just going to show you one that I did make, but it has a mistake. So this isn't the one we're doing today, but for an example, these here are your porcupine quills. Okay, and they look really beautiful in earrings. I messed up on my pattern on this side. So I don't wear these, but I never finished them because I got frustrated and said, forget it then. So they just kind of hang here and are a little display and a reminder of my failure. No, just kidding. It's just one of those things. I'll finish them eventually, but I wanted to try this design out, the fan design, and it did look really, really nice. So I will have to finish these someday. But that's what they look like, and they're really fun to wear because they're really lightweight. They weigh barely anything when you have them on. So it's a nice way to have a nice dangle earring also. I do have a pair of dangles that I've made with these, but it's a good way to have a dangle pair, and they're really light if you don't like heavy earrings. So as far as acquiring them, I order mine online, and you can order them online at most of the native craft supply shops, and you can also order them through other places probably. I get mine through Native American Craft Supply store. And so just kind of look around online. You should be able to get some. They are very inexpensive. They are not very much money at all. And they're not scary to work with. A lot of people might think, oh my gosh, they're sharp, they're scary, I don't want to touch them. You'll be fine. You're not going to hurt yourself. Now, as far as mine go, I have mine in this jar here, because porcupines are kind of dirty little animals, and they do kind of stink. So this kind of contains that stink. They don't stink once you clean them and put them on. I'm going to go through and show you how to do that. But you can kind of get a general idea of what they're going to look like when you get them. And they're basically just a pile of quills, and that's all this is. You do have to be careful when you do it, but it's something really fun, and I think they look just absolutely beautiful on earrings when they're made and things. Now, they do a thing called quilling, and I know a lot of people think, oh, well, paper quilling. No, it's not like paper quilling. Paper quilling is where you will twist the paper and make like flowers and designs and things out of the paper that you've twisted. Quilling is a completely different level, completely different craft. Quilling is a Native American craft, and it's done with porcupine quills like these, and they will wet them and soak them, and then they will flatten them out, and they will wrap them and do almost like an embroidery with them on leather, on rawhide. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. That's something I do not do, but I've watched people do it, and it is very amazing, and the outcome is just beautiful. And so traditionally, these would be used for quilling, but I'm going to just use them for my beadwork. I'm going to use them like you would a bugle bead, basically. Now, you can get these in different colors. You can get them dyed. You can get them in every color of the rainbow. I was going to actually order the package that was like assorted colors that had been dyed, but they were sold out. So I went with the natural. So these are what the natural will look like. They're going to have that white, kind of off-white color to them. And so you can get them in any color that you wish. So it's up to you how you want to do it and what colors you want to use. Today we're just going to need some porcupine quills. We're going to need our seed bead, our thread, our beeswax, our needle, pretty much our basics for if we were going to do any other beaded earring. Only the other addition is going to be our porcupine quills. And I'm going to go through with you and kind of show you how to prepare them and get them all ready and show you how to make the earrings. I haven't decided on what pattern of earrings I'm going to do yet. I'm going to kind of look through and see what I got for patterns, and we can kind of go from there. Speaking of patterns, I had a request for a pattern, which was really cool. It was awesome. I have never had anyone request my patterns before. So here, when I have time, I promise I am going to try and get the patterns that I already have up in some of my previous videos that I've done. And I'm going to try and get them up on my eBay store. And I'm going to, sell them up there probably $5, something cheap. But I have to figure out how I'm going to go about doing that. And it's probably not going to be like a digital copy. It's probably going to be an actual just hard copy, and I'll print it out and send it to whoever orders them. But that is another idea. I was really excited to get a request for a pattern, because I've always kind of questioned, like, would people want these patterns? Is this something people would be interested in? And it is quite the compliment when someone says that they really like your pattern that much, enough to go out and buy that pattern from you. So that was a major compliment and kind of gave me a little boost of confidence. So I really appreciate that. And I'm going to try and get that done as soon as humanly possible. I'm working on birthday gifts for my niece and nephew right now, so that's taking me a little bit. And shout out to Sloane if you're watching, or Holly. Hi. Shout out to that. I actually went and visited them last week, and that was a lot of fun. My sister and my aunt and my sister and my niece and my nephew. So that was awesome. After all this COVID stuff, it was like I didn't get to see anybody for so long. So it's been really nice to it was great to catch up and visit and see everybody face to face. So hopefully we're all through the worst of it. But as far as the patterns go, I have so many ideas. And if I can figure out how to do this, I can possibly put a lot more patterns up. And I do want to get more handmade jewelry up on my store too. So I appreciate everybody's support, family, friends, strangers coming in to watch the videos, people who comment, such lovely comments. I've had some really great comments, and I really appreciate all of you guys. So I'm really glad you're here. And I'm going to keep doing this as long as I have the time and energy and means to do so. But today we're going to do some porcupine quill earrings. It should be a lot of fun. It should be a really great little fun summer project. Something kind of cute to wear with your summer stuff, and something kind of a conversation piece. You can tell people what it's made out of, and they'll be like, whoa, that's cool. So something kind of different. But I will get us turned around and get us started in on this, and we will go step by step on our process. You're also going to need, I forgot to mention, you're going to need some kind of like a styrofoam or cardboard or something of the sort to put the sharp end of your porcupine quill in when we get it ready. And you'll also need a cotton ball with some warm soapy water. And that's about all you're going to need to prepare. So first of all, that's what we're going to need. We're going to need some cotton balls with some warm soapy water, just a couple, nothing big. And then something to poke those quills into. I find styrofoam is the best bet. You could also use a paper towel too, if you don't have any cardboard or styrofoam. You could also use a paper towel or a napkin or something like that. So, and we'll get turned around and we will start getting these guys all prepped and prepared and make us some quill earrings. Be right back. Okay, now let's get going here. I'm going to first of all tell you a list of all the supplies we're going to need. Of course, you're going to need your beading pad and your magnet if you have one, and a needle, just a size 11 beading needle. And then you're going to need 4 different colors of seed beads. I picked alabaster, black, brown, or dark brown and brown. Okay, and that's just your beading stuff. Of course, your size 0 nymo thread, and then your beeswax, your findings for the earring part, and then also some kind of jewelry pliers to attach your findings. Now, I'm going to get this out of the way, and we're going to go over our porcupine quill. We'll start with those guys first. So basically, you're going to get your porcupine quill, either probably order it, more likely than not, unless you know someone who has some. These, when I got them, have already been washed. So they have already had the oils removed and most of the hairs and things like that. Now, when you receive them, you can wash them again and just stick them in a bowl of soapy water and, agitate it a little here and there. You can also sort out your quills while you do that and clean them up really nice. And you can take out like any of the real itty bitty ones, the tiny ones that aren't going to be usable. And so that's the case with those. Getting them from a hunter or something, you're probably going to really have to clean them, and you need to separate the hairs from the quills and things like that. So these had already been pre-washed when I got them. And then when I did receive them, I did go through them again by hand. I just put them out on a paper towel and kind of picked through them and picked out the good looking quills, the ones that I know I can get a needle through. And so I'm just going to dump a few of these out here. These have been, you know, washed already, but you can still see, I don't think you can probably see them, but if you look closely, you can still see a little bit of residue here and there on the quill. So I'm going to show you how to get rid of that before we get going on it. First, you want to pick out your quills that you're going to be using. Now, for the pattern that I'm doing, we're going to need 8 quills for both, for the left and the right ear. So 4 in each ear. And picking those out, you want to pick ones that you know the needle can go through. And you also want to figure out what kind of, like, the length. Do you want to see this one's nice and thick? It's a nice thick one there. And you can put it right a little bit closer. But you all kind of want similar shapes and sizes. So I'm just going to kind of pick my way through here and pick out the ones that I think look similar enough. I'm going to go with, for the length, let me find my little ruler. I'm going to do an inch in length. So, you know, like this tiny little guy here, I don't even think, see, he wouldn't work for an inch. He'd have to be like a 1/2 inch one. Because we're going to cut off this black piece, that tip, because that can hurt you really badly if you step on it or something. And then this part here, which is where it was attached to the animal, but it's also pretty sharp and prickly too. So you have to make sure that it's going to be the proper length for that purpose. And, you know, they don't have to be perfect, but you want them as uniform as you can get them. I'm just going to start kind of picking them out here. You know, you want to be able to be getting the needle through them. And you want to be able to have the proper length. We got here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. It's kind of tiny there. 7. Do a different bit. Okay, so I have the 8 that I need. I'm going to leave my ruler out because I'm going to need that. Now, I'm going to put these other ones away really quick. When you go to pick them up, it's best to just kind of slowly gather them and just pick them up gently. Don't be in a hurry with them because they can go straight through your finger. And they are, well, I wouldn't say straight through, but they can poke you pretty good. But just kind of be gentle with them. And then just a few more here. Just move slowly around them is the best bet, I would say. And you see there are some a little bit of debris left from them, and we will clean off that excess debris. So what I do is I have some cotton balls here, and I put just some warm water and some dish soap on there, and that's just going to kind of clean up any excess oiliness or greasiness in them. And then you're going to want to get your styrofoam, and you can see where I've done this before. This was just something, came in a box with something, and I just use it for this. So I'm going to take my styrofoam, and like I said, if you don't have one of those, you can always use a folded paper towel or something like that. Styrofoam, the good thing about the styrofoam is because we're going to stick this in here, this tip in here, and then we're going to cut it. And that's the good thing about the styrofoam, is that it will catch all of the tips, those pointy tips, and they won't be all over your carpet and things. But you can also do that with the paper towel and just kind of shove it in there and then just snip. But we're going to clean it off real quick. And I just kind of do a quick little pass over on them. Just get any excess. Try not to stab the cotton ball. You just get any excess. Towards the tip, I like to kind of go towards myself instead of away, because there is a sharp on here that goes opposite, kind of like a fish hook would, and it will catch. Now, then I take it and I just stick it into the styrofoam. So we're going to cut them, and we're going to, that way the tip will stay in that styrofoam when you cut it, instead of going onto the floor or something like that where somebody could step on it or get hurt. And I brought a couple of these cotton balls. Just a couple more here. This just ensures that there's no more hairs or skin or oil left on there, and they'll be nice and clean. You don't want to use anything that's going to dry it out. You want to use just soapy water. You don't want to use like a harsh chemical, because it'll dry it out and then they'll become crumbly and got caught in there. See, there's a sharp end there. This one's really sharp. We'll just leave that end alone. It's clean anyways. Okay. Next thing you're going to want to do is we'll throw those cotton balls away. We don't need those anymore. Now, we have them all here on our styrofoam. I'm going to move this one over so he's a little easier to cut off of there, like so. Now, what we want to do, I like to leave a little bit of that black tip because it makes it real pretty. You just get a pair of scissors or snippers or whatever you got handy, and I hold on to it when I do it. I'm going to go to this one first. So I just hold on to it, and then if this will cut it. I need better scissors. Here we go. And just give it a snip, okay? And then just set that aside. And you just go through and snip off all those points. And that way, it's not in your carpet, in your feet. It's in the styrofoam instead. I like to leave you can leave, you know, you want to be able to get a needle through here. So you can leave a little bit of that black tip on there. Some of the black tips are a lot longer than the others. Probably just depends on the porcupine. All right, so there we have the sharps cut off and safe away from our toes. Now, I get these out of the way. This didn't work. I'm going to measure, because I want mine about 1 inch long. And I need to get it in my needle here because I want to make sure that I can get through my ends. Because we're going to go through this. I think that's just perfect. Maybe trim just a touch off of that. So what I like to do is I take my little ruler and I take my quill and I go to about there because I want these to be 1 inch. Okay. So I'm just gonna give it a trim. Just like that. And you want to make sure that you get these picked up too, because those hurt. Those little pieces, those little white ends. And so there is our 1 inch quill. Okay. And then I just use him as the guide for the rest. And I take it to where they're lined up. And then this is where the paper towel comes in handy, because I just stick that end in the paper towel, reassure that they're lined up, and then give it a trim. And you can always adjust it if you need after the tip has been removed. Because see, that's pretty sharp on that end there. And I'm going to do 1 inch on all of them. And I'm just going to set mine aside up here off the paper towel, because I'm going to throw this paper towel away when I'm finished. And this is a nice, simple way to do it without getting hurt. And like I said, you can trim as needed after the tip is off of there. I'm just going to finish the rest of these off. You could also use like a towel from your kitchen or something like that to do this on, but you want to make sure that that's, or a rag. I would recommend a rag, because if you're going to do this with more than just once, then you'll have a specific rag. And that way, if any of these pointy things remain in there, you don't know it, you won't get poked. But I prefer just a paper towel. I can easily throw it away. Make sure that the kittens don't get a hold of it or something. I don't want them to get into them. Got a couple more here, almost finished. It takes just a second. The wrong angle here. All right, so that is done. And I am going to just roll this up and throw this away here. All right, so we should have our 8 quills. 2, 4, 6, 8, and they all look nice and uniform. Oh my god, I don't have them lined up perfect, but they look really nice. So those are all ready to go. So I'm going to lay my bead mat, and I'm just going to put those on there so they don't get lost. Here we go. So we have our quills. And then we're going to need our beads. So I'm going to lay out my beads. I chose the alabaster, the black, brown, and then red were the 4 that I chose. So I'm going to get mine laid out on my bead pad, and I will be right back. Okay, so I got my beads laid out here. I have red, alabaster, which is kind of hard to see, black, and dark brown. And then I also have all my quills here. And I've threaded my needle. I'm using a size 11 beading needle and a size 0 nymo thread, and I did a wingspan. So one hand, spread your arms out, and that's what I call a wingspan. And I did wax it also. So we are all ready to get going. Now, excuse me, these are your typical brick stitch earrings. Now, the only difference obviously is our quills we're putting on in there. Some people, or you may choose to, it's up to you, take a straight pin and push through the quill before they bead, because there is kind of like a, I don't know, like a cartilage type of thing inside there. It's not going to focus in on it. And it can be kind of hard to poke through. I don't do that. If you think you need to, go ahead and do it. So this is going to be a more simpler earring. So for our foundation row, we're only going to have 4 beads going across. Actually, they're four doubled beads going across. So to start off, we're going to pick up 2. I'm picking up 2 of my alabasters, and then I'm going to pick up 2 of my dark brown. Here, let me bring you in. And 2 of those. 2 alabaster, and then 2 dark brown. And I'm going to bring that down to, almost got a little too close to the bottom. We're going to want to leave our 7-inch, 6-inch thread at the bottom, just so we can tie things off later and make it look nice. So you're going to have something that looks like that. And then you're going to want to take your needle and bring it up through the first 2 colors, whichever you picked. Mine are the alabaster, so I'm going from the bottom up through the first 2. And then those are going to lay next to each other side by side, real nicely, like that. And so I'm going to go back down through my brown beads over here on the side. My lighting's a little off today. It's later in the afternoon, so. And bring that down, just like that. And so you're going to have, this is your tail here on that side, and then you're going to have the brown on that side. Okay. And so I'm going to reinforce that, and I'm going to go back up through my alabaster from the bottom up to the top, like that, just to kind of reinforce things. And then I'm going to come back down my brown beads there. Oops. Okay, in our next color, I'm going to use the red, so I need 2 red. I'm going to go from the top. It's kind of trying to focus on the beads out there. One second. Just kind of move these so we can focus. That's a little better. So I'm coming from the bottom, and I'm gonna, yeah, it looks like it's gonna focus now. And I'm gonna bring my needle down through the top of those brown beads. Like that. And pull through. And then we're gonna go up through the red beads that we just put on. I'm gonna just kind of give it a little straighten. That's what we got so far. And then we're gonna use our, just lost my needle here. Hang on, I can't. There we go. And we're gonna do 2 of the black. And we're gonna put that from underneath through the top of those red beads. Oops. I picked like the most bendy needle I have today. And we're going to stick that back down through those black beads there. And so we're going to have something that looks like that. Now I'm going to go back through. So we're coming back to the other end. So I'm going to go into that red one. I'm going to go into the brown one. And then back up. My tail's coming out. Tail's coming out right there. Okay. So kind of hold that tail, keep it out of your way. And I'm going to bring it up through. Oh, maybe. There we go. Jeez. I don't know why I struggled with that. And I'm going to bring that back up through this last one. Every time I wear a ring on this hand, it gets caught up in stuff. So I'm going to take this ring off. Okay. And that is our foundation row there. So our thread's coming out of this one, these alabaster ones here. And now we're going to go start the triangle. It's a tiny one. It's just 2 rows. And so I'm going to pick up alabaster. I can see them. They're hard to see. And then I'm going to bring it. Oh, I'm sorry. An alabaster and a, we need to do 2. And a dark brown. Alabaster and the dark brown. And then we're going to go, we're going to skip that first one, that first bridge, because we're going to go under the bridges. So, and then we're going to go under this one here. So like that. And then come back up through that dark brown one. And there you go, like that. And now I need to put on a red bead. So 1 red bead. And then we're going to go into this bridge here. Pull it through and then come back up through that bead. Really dropping my needle. And that's our first row. It's a tiny little earring. It's not a very big earring. And so what I like to do is just give it a flip. I'm going to flip it over so my thread is on my other side. Now, sorry, bumped into you there. We need to pick up a alabaster and a dark brown. And then we're going to go into this second bridge and pull through. And then bring your needle up through that brown bead. Okay. Whoops, I missed my bridge is what I just did. I'm gonna fix this. Hang on. Okay. I find it harder and harder as I get older to thread needles. I mean, for real though, it's insane. And then we're going to want to do, this is the end here, so we want to put up a hoop to attach our finding from. So I think I'm going to use the alabaster color. I'm going to do 6 beads here. So we got our 6 beads on there. And then what you want to do is the bead right next to that brown one, we're going to come from the top through to the bottom and pull it through. And then we're going to do that a few more times just to kind of even everything out, make it look nice. Should we get 6? Yeah, okay. And we're going to come back up through everything. So I'm going to go to the other side. I kind of flipped it over there, and I'm going to stick it through this brown one. And come back up through these other beads. And kind of just secure it a little bit. Try not to get wrapped up in things. That was my tail. There we go. We'll see if it'll list it again. Sometimes you can get through a third time. Sometimes not. It looks as though we are going to. So we'll go one more time. There we go. And come back down. And when we come down this time, we're going to go all the way to the end. There we go. Whoops. I just went in and out through that multiple times. Just kind of make sure it's secure and that the thread isn't going to pop out on us there. So now we need to get our needle coming back out over here at the beginning. So I'm just going to kind of weave things in and out. Focus isn't the best today. Figure out where I'm coming out of here. Okay, I'm over there. So I need to move over to where my tail is. So I'm just going to ease over there. And perfect. Now, the top is finished. Looks pretty cool. Now we need to start our fringe, but I'm going to tuck away this tail. I'm going to put this on the needle, so be patient with me. Missed it. Okay, I'm just tucking away this tail if I can grab the thing. Jeez Louise. My hands are a little clumsy this week. I'm just getting this out of the way. I'm going to get a knot in here. This went up through a couple beads, and I'm just going to put a little knot here. Make sure it's secure. Okay, I'm going to do that again here. And then I'm just going to go through one more, kind of hide that knot. There we go. And I'm going to trim that off. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to rethread my needle here with my thread on that I left on there. Okay. Now we can start our fringe. Now the fringe is where we're going to be adding our porcupine quills. So we're going to start off, we're going to do, let's see, an alabaster. Oh, let me get these scissors out of the way. Let's see, we got alabaster, dark brown, and then a red and a black, just like that. And then we're going to move that down a little. Then we're going to add a porcupine quill. Now when you add them, you want to make sure that the black spot of the quill is facing downwards, like that, okay? So if you think about it, that means you're going to have to go through from the white end. You see that, you can see on here, move this back, that there's still like a, kind of like a little cartilage or something in there, okay? And you just want to gently push your needle through. And that's why you want to make sure that you have a long enough needle, because if you don't have a long enough needle, say you have a longer porcupine quill, and you're not going to be able to get through that. So you have to have the proper length needle. And then you just pull through. It's just basically like putting a bead on. So there we have that. Now we're going to do 4 alabaster, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to do 4 dark brown, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to do 4 red, and then 2 black. So this is going to be a hoop. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue on with that. So technically it is going to be 4 black, because we're going to hoop this back up and through. We're going to be a partial hoop fringe. And then, so we have 4 alabaster, 4 dark brown, 4 red, and then 4 black. And then we're going to do 4 red again. And then 4 dark brown. And then 4 alabaster. Okay. And so basically we're going to go like, I'm sorry, not like that. Like that, okay, up and back through the quill. So what you want to do is just leave all those beads on there. Just kind of push this little one up from away from that quill. And then just stick your needle back in that quill and back up through the quill until you're coming out of the quill. Like that. And pull it through gently. And then what we're going to do is come back up through these first 4 that we put on. Like that. And then you can also go up through your foundation row. So back up through the quill, back up through those 4 beads in your foundation row, and then pull it through. And then we're going to have to readjust it however you need to. You don't want any gaps down here. You know, you don't want any gaps down there. You don't want any gaps up here by the foundation. So just kind of look it over, make sure it's where you want it. You don't want it too tight because then it won't, you know, do its fringe thing. But you don't want it too loose because then you will get your gaps. So there we go. That's the first one. Now we're going to come back down our foundation row. Oh, I missed one of my, hang on, I missed one of my foundation beads. Let me go through that one real quick. There we go. So we're coming up out of our, because we had the 2 foundation beads. And so we're coming up out of those. And so we need to go next door to that, to the brown ones, those 2 brown foundation beads. And come down through those. I can get through there. Hang on. The struggle has been real all week, I swear. The struggle. There we go. So you want to come down through those 2 neighboring beads on your foundation row, and we're going to start our second row of fringe. This is going to be a nice quick one because we only have 4 rows to do, and fringe goes rather fast once you get your pattern. Okay, so for our second row of fringe, what we want to do is we're going to do 2 alabasters. 1, maybe 2, like that. And then we're going to do 2 dark brown. And then we're going to do 2 red. And then we're going to do 2 black. I'm getting these mixed up and I won't be able to tell those apart there. Okay, so, ooh, that black is really large. Hang on, let me get another one. So we have 2 alabaster, 2 dark brown, 2 red, and 2 black. And just pull those down. And then we're going to want another quill. And remember, we have to come through the white part of the quill so that the black piece is on the bottom. So get your needle through. And go slowly so it doesn't poke through the side. There we go. And then pull it through. You see, we came from the top, and so our black part is on the bottom. And now we're going to do fringe again, and all the fringes are going to be the same here on this hoop. It's going to change up here, and it's going to be the same down here. So we're going to do 4 alabaster. Those are hard to see the holes in. Okay, 4 alabaster, and then 4 dark brown, 4 red, 4 black, and then you go 4 more red, and then 4 dark brown, and then 4 alabasters in whichever color. I mean, you probably are not using the same colors, but do whatever colors you want to do. All right, so we have our little hoop pattern here, and this is our hoop part here that we just strung. So what we want to do is we want to take, boy, it's so dark on the, see if that helps. Sorry about that. Okay, so you want to take, the sun's going, well, it's not going down, but it's going the other side of the house. Bring this down a little bit from the next to there, your quill, and then you want to go through your quill again. So push that through there gently, just like that, and pull through. Okay, and then you'll have another little hoop, and then we're going to go back up through these beads that we strung, the first row that we strung, fringe, before we put our quill on, and then go back up through the 2 brown foundation beads, just like that, and pull it through. And this one I'm going to adjust a little. See, I can see a little, see there's that little focus. Nope, and I'm going to, but there's a little hoop right here sticking out, and we don't want that. So you want to always make sure that you correct it. And I do that by just taking a little piece of the bottom of this hoop and giving it a tug. There we go. And let's straighten that out nice. Okay, then we go back down through our neighboring 2 foundation beads to start our 3rd fringe, okay? And bring it on down. And like I said, the fringe is very similar. All we're doing is increasing our numbers at the top part of our fringe, this area here. We're just kind of increasing the numbers on that, so it comes a little bit longer each time. So now we're going to do 3 of each color. So we're going to do 3 alabaster, and then 3 dark brown, 3 red, 3 black. Oops, I got 4. Always make sure you're watching yourself. And then 3 black. Just like that. 3 alabaster, 3 dark brown, 3 red, and 3 black. Bring it down. And then grab another quill. And remember, insert from the white part of the quill. And some of them go through nice. And always make sure your quills are dry when you do these. If you have wet quills, they'll bend and they hold their form nice when they're dry. But if they're wet, you might want to let them dry out if you just washed them. Now, we're going to do 4 alabaster, and then 4 dark brown, 4 red, 4 black, okay, and then 4 more red, 4 dark brown, and 4 alabaster. Okay, bring that on down, and then we're going to bring that down a little ways from the quill and reinsert from the bottom of the quill and come through. Like that. And then we're going to come back up. Well, dang it, I'm caught. Sorry. right, we are almost done, guys. This is turning out so pretty. I love these. Absolutely love it. See, now I have another. It's not going to focus. Come on, you. Nope. Anyway, I have a little circle hoop of thread again, and I have to fix that. I would watch out for that if you're doing this, because it's, for some reason, it seems to be doing it to me. So I would maybe keep an eye on it. I like how this is looking though. These are really cool. So now we're going to come back down our neighboring bead here, our 2 foundation neighboring beads, and finish off our last fringe. And pull that down. And this time we are going to be doing 4 of each color. So we're going to do 4 alabaster. And then 4 dark brown. 4 red. And 4 black. All right, so that's that little strand there at the top by the foundation row. And now we are going to add another quill. And again, you want to add from, or go through the white part here. Okay, and then we're going to do the same little hoop. So 4 alabaster. Maybe not. Try that. There we go. And then 4 dark brown. 4 red. 4 black. 4 red. 4 dark brown. And 4 alabaster. Okay, and then we're going to bring that down a little from the quill and come back in through the quill. Slowly get through there. There we go. Pull it on through. Now we'll go back up through the rest of our fringe here. And go through our 2 foundation row beads. Oh, getting caught up in my other fringe, hang on. Oh no, don't you dare. Let's try to twist her up around it. There we go. Now we'll kind of give this a little tighten, just like so. Let's see what we got going here. Looking wonderful. Now I'm gonna kind of come in and out a few beads and double check my fringe here. Looks good. Okay. I'm going to come back. Okay. Tangled. Here we go. Okay. Through one of these beads here. Hello. Not focused. And I'm just going to tie a knot and secure this and make sure that it's nice and tight. because, you know, fringe earrings take kind of a lot of abuse. They kind of dangle around and get a lot of wear and tear on them. Okay, and then I'm gonna just kind of hide my thread in a couple beads and then trim it off. No, I can't get through that. I guess I'll go through this one here. There we go. And we're going to just give it a trim. There we go. Oh, it's so pretty. Now, I'm going to attach my earring wire here. Bring out just a little bit because we don't need to be super zoomed in for that. Okay, and I'm going to need these guys. Now, when you make these, see how it's kind of a downward angle fringe. So if you look at it, of course, this end is longer than this end. So when you do your earring wires, try and keep that in mind when you put your earring wires on, because, you know, if you put it on this way, it's going to hang that way. And, you know, that could be, I would, if it was me, because I haven't done my other earring yet, but if it was me, I would do the long towards the face and then the other long one towards the face. So they would fan out. But you could also do it the opposite way. So however you want those to hang, just be aware of that when you put your earring wire on. I've got the long end of it here. And we'll just put this on real fast. Like that. And we'll seal it back up nice. There we go. And that is our porcupine quill earrings. I think they turned out really cool. I mean, you can kind of see the alabaster a little better in my hand than on that pad. I think they're really pretty. I absolutely love these quills. They are so lightweight and so fun to wear. I mean, once you make them, you'll understand, like, they're super fun to wear. But that is the finished product. Aren't they pretty? And I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. I know it's been a little while, and I know this was like a super simple one, but I had a lot of fun doing it, and I enjoyed showing you guys how to use quills. I appreciate you stopping by. Please like and subscribe. Feel free to leave a comment with any questions or comments. And I appreciate you coming over, and I hope you enjoyed my video. Hope you're able to make your own beautiful porcupine quill earrings. You guys take care.